Hello friends, welcome you all to the Target UPSC Prelims 2021. Today we are going to discuss some of the important current events from the perspective of UPSC Prelims. It's 15th of December. First news is about environment. What it says, it has made certain rules, not law, made a certain rules regarding exotic wild species. So illegal acquisition or possession of exotic wild species, it has some important point. What it say? Let's go into it. See what it says. The Supreme Court has upheld an Allahabad High Court's hearing with order granting immunity from investigation and prosecution for if one declared illegal acquisition or possession of exotic wildlife species between June and December. If it means if you are having exotic wildlife species in your home, in your stock, and you are declaring that I am having these things, I am having these exotic animals with me, then you will not be prosecuted. You will get immunity from all kinds of this acquisition and prosecution. So that's why central government, Minister of Environment and Forest has made these changes. This is a kind of new amnesty scheme announced by the center. Why and what are the basics? We'll go into it. See what it says. See, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has came out with an advisory on one-time voluntary disclosure scheme. Voluntary disclosure, you have to disclose your acquisition or possession of exotic wild animals on your own in a voluntary basis. That allows owners of exotic live species that have been acquired illegally to declare their stock to the government between June and December 2020. This is the advisory. Now what is this? With this scheme, the government aims to address the challenges of zoonotic disease, that is diseases that are being spread from animal to the human being. In its current form, however, the amnesty scheme is just an advisory. It is not a law. That's why it should be taken in that way itself. Here, some of the important thing. The disclosure has to be done online through Ministry of Environment's Parivesh portal. You should remember the name. You have to go for this disclosure, voluntary disclosure through online mechanism on this Parivesh portal. The advisory has defined exotic live species as animals that named under Appendix 1, 2 and 3 of the CITES. What this CITES stands for? It stands for Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Remember, appendices 1, 2, 3 of CITES. So CITES stands for Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. It does not include species from the schedules of the Wildlife Protection Act of 1973. So the last 2 points are very, very important from preliminary examination point of view. They could definitely ask you a question about this amnesty scheme. Then next important news is about Swadhinta Sadak or Swadhinta Sadak. What is? It is very important for, you can use this point in essay, you can use this point in mains answer, as well as you can keep this in mind regarding Indo-Bangladesh relationship. What is this Swadhinta Sadak? Very interesting news is there. See what it says. It says Bangladesh Foreign Minister has said that the Swadhinta Sadak between Bangladesh and India will be inaugurated from 26th of March next year. The road remains functional on Indian side while it will be connected through Mujibnagar, Meherpur district in Bangladesh. So this point is important. Mujibnagar, Meherpur district in the Bangladesh will be the connecting point on the sides of the Bangladesh. Here, Chilahati Haldirbari link. This link is important. Chilahati Haldirbari link, which was active till 1965, will be inaugurated during the summit. Meeting between the two prime ministers on December 17, 2020. This is an important development. Then next important news is about the space development in Russia. What this news says, now see it is very carefully. Russia successfully launches heavy lift space rocket after a gap of almost 6 years, that is after 2014. Now why this news is important is very interesting. Russia's heavy lift rocket was first launched or test fired in 2014. Now it is 2020. Russia successfully test launched its heavy lift space rocket. Its name is Angara. It is from a river in Baikal Lake. Right. Angara A5 in a project after a gap of almost 6 years. Russian president has inaugurated or has expressed his content with this particular project, and he said that it is very, very important for national security of the Russia. Here, one important thing. The Angara rocket have been named after a Siberian river flowing out of Lake Baikal. Heavy class Angara rocket is more environment friendly as it uses or it is fueled by oxygen and kerosene rather than the poisonous heptyl fuel. Toxic heptyl fuel is not being used. It is using kerosene and oxygen as a fuel. That's why it has a significance. Angara. Now, one very important homework for you. You just search everything, every point in detail about the river Angara of Siberian region in Lake Baikal. So, in geography, you could get a question on two important points. One is river Angara. Second is Lake Baikal of Siberian region. Then, third important news is about Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. It is very important news. He is also famous at the world level as a Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Here, remember, UNESCO has decided to launch an international prize in the field of creative economy in the name of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Starting in November 2021, $50,000 award will be given away once in 2 years for global economic activities of the youth. Now here, what this award recognizes, here remember, it recognizes exceptional initiative taken by cultural worker and organizations in the development of creative economy. Currently, if we look at the number of prizes given by UNESCO, you will realize that currently 23 UNESCO international awards in the name of international celebrities and organizations have been given. Now, we'll try to have a brief information about Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Very important information is there. I would suggest every one of you should know about Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. See, what is the information? First thing, he was born on 17th of March 1920 in erstwhile India in the city of Tungipara, India, which is right now in the Bangladesh, and he was passed away on 15th of August 1975 in Dhaka, which is the capital of right now Bangladesh. He was a Bengali leader who became first Prime Minister of India from 1972 to 1975, and later on he became President of the Bangladesh in the year 1975. So remember, he was Prime Minister as well as the President of Bangladesh. Now here, he began his formal political career in the year 1949 as a co-founder of Awami League. He played a very crucial role in advocating political autonomy for East Pakistan, which is right now Bangladesh, and the detached eastern part of Pakistan, which is right now Bangladesh. So, East Pakistan, West Pakistan were what we can say detached by India, and they were one nation who got independence after partition. Now, next important news is about digitization of cash payment. This is news, this is name which you have to keep in mind always, as you could get a question, important question on this part. Better Than Cash Alliance. It is a alliance of government, companies, corporations and digital payments which has been formed recently. So it is Better Than Cash Alliance. What is it? Go through it. See, India and United Nations based Better Than Cash Alliance organized a joint peer learning exchange program on fintech solution for responsible digital payment in the days to come. So they are working on having more and more digital payment. Now what it says, see what it is a partnership of governments, of companies and of international organizations. Its main focus is to accelerate the transition from cash payments to digital payments in order to reduce poverty and to drive more and more inclusive growth and development into the society. To advance the sustainable development goal is also another important objective of this alliance. Here remember, it has been created in the year 2012. It was launched by United Nations Capital Development Fund, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Citigroup, the Ford Foundation and the Omidyar Network. So these are the promoting institutions. They launched this particular group in 2012. Who are the members of this alliance? Remember, the alliance has total 75 members which are committed to digitize their payments from cash to digital. What is the objective? The Alliance Secretariat, it works with members on their journey to digitize payments by providing advisory services based on their priorities, then sharing action-oriented research and fostering peer learning on digitizing payment, conducting advocacy at national, regional and as well as global level. India become a member of Better than Cash Alliance in the year 2015, that is after 3 years of its formation. So remember, Better Than Cash Alliance has been formed in the year 2012 and it became its member in the year 2015, the most important thing. Then next important news has a historical significance. The news is about a bridge on Son River in Bihar. The name of the bridge is Koilwar Bridge. Why it is important and who inaugurated? Let's go into it. So remember, the Koilwar Bridge was inaugurated by Honorable Union Minister Nitinji Gadkari. It is a 3-lane Koilwar Bridge on Son River in Bihar. What is background? The existing 2-lane bridge on Son River is 138 years old and it has traffic for both rail as well as road. The bridge has been replaced, which includes 3 lanes of carriageway. It is all major link between Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Remember, Koilwar Bridge is the most important link between Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. Between 1862 and 1900, the bridge was the longest bridge in India, almost for 38 years. The Koilwar Bridge was the longest bridge in India. It was inaugurated by the then Viceroy of India, Lord Elgin. So, what you have to focus for UPSC prelims? You have to search information about Son River. You have to search information about Koilwar Bridge and you have to search information about Lord Elgin. This is the way UPSC asks the question. So you have to search somewhat more information about Lord Elgin in historical development. The bridge is also known as about Abdul Bari Bridge. So again you have to search some more important points about Abdul Bari. Then this is the diagram of Son River. You can go for it, Ganga River. To here it comes as Son River, Rihan River and GB Pant, and this is Rihan Dam. So this is diagram. Just pause this particular video and go through this entire map. You will realize where it is located, what is the position of Son River. Now we will try to understand few important points about Son River, what it is. See, Son River is one of the most important tributaries of the river Ganges. It originates near Amarkantak Plateau of Madhya Pradesh. Then Amarkantak is a pilgrim town and is unique natural heritage area and meeting point of Vindhya and Satpura ranges. Amarkantak is also the starting point of Narmada and Johila River. So Narmada River, Johila River and Son River, these 3 important rivers originates in Amarkantak Plateau. I repeat once again, Narmada River, Johil River and Son River originates in the Amarkantak Plateau. Then next is about equality of LGBTs. India's first LGBT plus workplace equality index has been launched recently. It has significance. You can use this point in prelims as well as you can use this entire information to be used in your essay as well as while writing answers of the society paper of general studies 1, which has a significance, which carries almost 6 to 7 questions every year in your UPSC mains. But it is a first of its kind. That's why you can expect or there is more probability of getting question on this particular index. So what it is, let's go into it. Here remember, India's first LGBT plus workplace equality index has been launched. It is the country's first comprehensive benchmarking tool for employers to measure their progress on LGBT plus inclusion at the workplace. Remember, it has been launched by a non-profit Keshav Suri Foundation. The name is important, Keshav Suri Foundation. Don't go in details of it. Partnered with Pride Circles, Stonewall UK and FICCI, Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Who are the winners? 21 firms won under the gold category while 18 were under silver and 13 got bronze. So if possible just try to get their names, but no need to go in details of all these names. You won't get questions on these names. The next important news is about 7th schedule. You must be knowing about all 12 schedules of the Indian Constitution. Here for us 7th schedule is important. Why? Because recently 15th Commission of India Chairman Mr. N.K. Singh has called for a fresh look at the Constitution's 7th schedule. Major changes needs to be made, which forms the basis for allocating subject between the center and state. Now here I want to give you a brief idea. 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution talks about division of legislative power between center and state. 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution has 3 important lists. One is union list, second is state list and third one is concurrent list. Now, what is the meaning of union list? The subjects that are mentioned in the union list are legislated by Union Parliament. The subjects that are mentioned in the state list are legislated by state legislature. Whereas the subjects that are mentioned in concurrent list, they are legislated by both center and state simultaneously. They have right to make laws simultaneously. Both laws will be implemented simultaneously. As long as there is no conflict between central law and state law, both laws will be implemented simultaneously. But whenever there is a conflict between center and state, remember, union laws will prevail over state law, which is important. So here, why the changes? The 7th schedule under Article 246 of the Indian Constitution deals with division of powers between the center and state. And as I told you, it has 3 important lists. It talks about power and function. The 3 lists are union list, state list and concurrent list. So it is a pictographic image. You won't get question. No need to remember these subjects. Just try to focus on the subject which are more in news, where Parliament should make a law. Now, why it is important? Some important things. Union list, as I told you, it is a list of almost 98 subjects, originally 97. Numbered items as provided in the 7th schedule. The Union government, that is Parliament of India, has exclusive power to legislate on matters relating to the union list. Then comes state list. It is a list of 59 subjects, originally 66 items. The respective state government, that is state legislative assemblies, have the right to make laws relating to any subject mentioned in the state list. And third one is about concurrent list. These are 52 subjects, originally 47. 5 subjects have been transferred from state list to concurrent list. The 5 subjects are education, forest, wildlife, weights and measures, and administration of judiciary below district level. So these 5 subjects have been transferred from state list to concurrent list, and it is both center and state has the right to make laws simultaneously on the subject mentioned in the concurrent list. The next news is one of the very important news of international level. It is a news related to South China Sea. It is a news related to strategic hegemony of China in South China Sea, and somewhere it could erupt into a tension between USA and its allies and between China. It is about Patis Island. You can go here. It is Patis Island. This is China. It is Taiwan, Philippines. It is also known as Dongsha Island. It is located in South China Sea. Currently, this Dongsha Island or Patis Island is in the hands of Taiwan, and China is maneuvering to take the strategic control of this Patis or Dongsha Island. Why it is in news? Here remember, recently defense strategic experts and analysts have increasingly warning of a possible Chinese attack to capture the Patis Island. Patis Island is also known as Dongsha Island. It has emerged as a new flashpoint in South China Sea. Islands are located in northern part of South China Sea, which is under the jurisdiction of Taiwan. Here, why the concerns are there? If China controls the Patis Island, the island could function as a gatekeeper to monitor US and other countries' ships and aircraft entering into the South China Sea from the Pacific Ocean. That's why this Patis Island is so much important. Now, you should go into the geography, polity, history and all other aspects of Taiwan and South China Sea for getting a question and which is the important states that are going from this Patis Island, so that you can focus on that part. So, thank you very much from my side. We'll meet soon tomorrow with more and more current event. Thank you very much. Have a good day.